Hey everybody, and welcome to my next video. This week it is June 6th, 2012, and this week I'll be talking about Draven a little bit. He's a new champion, came out just today. Played a couple games with him, and I just wanted to show a little feedback of Runes Masteries, a little bit of my opinions on choices about lane opponents, lane choice about lane partner, and a little couple extra things here and there. So, for my runes, as you can see, I do 15 physical damage for my marks and glyphs. For my seals, I like armor glyphs. Armor seals. And then I do magic resist per level glyphs, which is pretty much standard for any AD carry that you will play. I have tried him in the jungle. Don't bother. You can make it work, but don't bother. For Masteries, I like to go a little bit different than what they showed, Riot Games had showed on their Champion Spotlight. I like to go the same thing, go for every AD carry. I go 2109. The only thing that I would say that I might do for him is because his mana costs are kind of low, I would switch out Meditation for more into Swiftness for movement speed. If you really, you could also do 2190 like they did in the Riot Games Champion Spotlight, but I think this works well anyway because the buff duration is really good for mid-late game when you have red buff, so it lasts longer on you, and I think that the extra mana helps with spamming your W upon catching the axe again, and the movement speed's really good, and the flash cooldown is also, you want the flash cooldown. So other than that, let's get into Draven's abilities. So this is Draven. He has two skins. I will probably be picking up this skin because I think it's cool as hell. And they gave him a new voice, so I think they're going to pick that one up. But onto his abilities. His passive is called Wicked Blades. It's generally, if you critical strike an opponent, they take physical damage over the duration of 4 seconds. It's a very low physical damage property, but it is extra damage in early game, around between 1 and 10 minutes. In lane, that is very strong. Now you have Spinning Axe, which is his Q. Upon his next attack, Draven will throw an axe, and it will ricochet off the opponent and land somewhere near Draven or in his path to pick it up, and so he can continuously throw it again. Spinning Axe also 100% guarantees that you will get his passive on a target, which is really the reason why early game Spinning Axe is very huge in lane. Also, Spinning Axe can be available to stack 2 times, so if you continuously catch the axe over and over again, you will have 2 Spinning Axes at once, and you'll be doing some crazy round robin trying to pick both of them up at the same time. His W is his Blood Rush. Blood Rush increases movement speed and attack speed by a percentage over a certain amount of time. The movement speed bonus only lasts 1.5 seconds. The attack speed bonus lasts for 3. The cooldown gets refreshed whenever you catch an axe. So that's pretty much what you want to do. You want to throw the Spinning Axe, hit Blood Rush, throw your auto attack, catch the axe, Blood Rush again, continue to do it. This will be very mana consumptive, but what it gives you is a very strong control to the lane, and also it makes you chase fantastically. His E ability is Stand Aside. What happens is you'll throw your double blades at an opponent. It will, whatever side the blades hit, it will slide the opponent to that side. It breaks channels. It breaks any type of casting animation, anything like that. It also provides a slow up to 30% at max level. And as per level, the cooldown gets reduced and the damage is increased. His last ability, which is ultimate, is Whirling Death. It is a global ultimate. Surprisingly enough, it is actually quite hard to hit the second time because people usually move. But it is a global ultimate that takes 2 blades and throws them across the map. Upon the first champion hit, it will ricochet back and turn around. Although each enemy struck by the blades, including minions, reduces the damage of the blades, on the return trip the damage is reset. Okay. Finally, I like to take Ignite with him because of the proc with his passive, And with the passive and Ignite, you bleed damage plus Ignite. Any low target should drop. I take Flash with him. You could maybe take Ghost, but since his his W is kind of like a quick Ghost that could be refreshed, I really don't see a point. Cleanse is also completely viable. If you feel as though the other team has a Taric, like Taric Sivir combo, such as that. Okay, now, unlike the last video, I'm going to discuss a little bit about lane matchups, what I think are good supports for Draven, and if I think that he can go in any other lane. He could maybe go top lane if you play him very tanky, but honestly, that makes it so you can't really focus on picking up your axes because you got to be very, very cautious on top lane. So I think mostly keep him in bottom lane. I think he'll do well. Right now, the best supports I've seen for him right now, John is very good because it gives you very good early damage with the shield with spinning axe and the passive. So that's John is a good support for everybody. Nunu is actually a very good support for him because you get the attack speed buff. The movement speed is critical. That way, you picking up your axes becomes a breeze, and you're also slowing down the opponent. So it's pretty much a double chase team, and it's very, very strong. Sona, I've noticed not so much for him, just because she's fallen out of favor recently, and she's not too strong of a support anymore. Soraka is also very good with him. The only thing with Soraka is like you're pretty much meant to farm, and Draven's very, I would say he's very reliant, almost like an MF, Misfortune, to getting those early game aggressions out there. I think that will really help him most of the time because he doesn't really feel to me as though his late game is as strong as would say like an Ashe with her arrow or a Cogmaw with his long range. Draven's kind of like an early get in there, win the lane type of champion. Lastly, I would say that Blitzcrank could be good as a support for him because you could if you have Blitzcrank, you do a Q, you do an E, and then you chase them down with W. It's very good. Pretty much you want to have early aggression with Draven. Some lane opponents I would say to watch out for as Draven. Vayne can do some damage to Draven if she has a good support with her and if she knows how to play Vayne correctly. The knockback really hurts you in terms of if you throw an axe, try to catch it. In the middle of you're trying to catch it, she knocks you out of the axe. It lowers your DPS for quite some time doing that. Also, you have to think about it. Sivir on your initial axe hit could spell shield the axe. As far as I could tell, I've seen it happen, but it could be a bug. Also, any lane opponent's okay for him, but those two really look like it could be a problem. Nunu versus Draven is actually a very hard matchup for him because as soon as he snowballs you, you automatically have a problem trying to catch the axe if it's more than far, if it's not coming directly back at you. It really kind of messes up your whole combo. Other than that, I think most aggressive supports they would do okay versus Draven, but his biggest weakness is the same thing that they came out with Varus a couple weeks ago. It's pretty much that he doesn't really have any escapes other than his movement speed boost, which is a very short movement speed boost. So you're pretty much relying on getting in there and doing damage, and hopefully you'll keep positioning. Uh, the last thing I want to mention is that the whole axe catching late game and team fights, it's very difficult because team fight orientation for AD carries, you want to really have great positioning. When you have great positioning, that means that you're not running to a specific spot. And if the other team knows exactly where you're going to be because you really want to catch that axe, that kind of brings a whole slew of AoE snares, everything like that, like Swain, his snare. That really brings him into the party as someone who could kind of wreak havoc. So I think you're mostly going to be wanting to be an auto attack bot late game with not too worrying too heavily on where the axe is going to fall. Especially because in a really tough engaged team fight where everything's clustered, it's really hard to see stuff on the ground as well. Especially if you play on really high graphics. All in all, I think Draven's actually a really smart champion. I think he's a good pick. I like that the Riot tried to introduce some new mechanics with the pickup, bouncing off the target, although they did do that with Olaf to pick up the axe for the reduced cooldown. This one's slightly different, but I feel as though it brings a new kind of capacity to people who are actually going to play him well. Kind of like how Orianna had a big skill cap. Other than that, hitting the ultimates probably is very satisfying. Trying to hit someone from 3 lanes away if you can get it. The only thing that is, it's not nearly as fast as you would say like an Ashawi or an Azrael ultimate. I think it's actually a little bit slower by a small sum, a little bit slower. Other than that, that was my opinions and my Draven Runes and Masteries guide. And thanks for watching.